Is representing our Georgia State Committee. Jiha.
Hi everyone, thank you for coming. First of all, I'm really happy to be in this exhibition, and it's such a beautiful exhibition, and thank you for such a wonderful job of everything. Surprisingly, I'm actually from Washington DC area too. That's where I started out my career as a professional artist for the first time out of graduate school. I had my first solo show here with my friend Andrea Puan, and also for the first time my public collection happened in DC in Herschel Museum. So coming back here and having a show in this group show and representing Georgia, it's quite ironic to me. I feel like I'm coming back home and meeting all my friends and family again, and at the same time, my work always involved with where I travel, who I meet, and what kind of things I see in the nature and elsewhere. I always try to embrace and become part of my work. And obviously, as you can see, I'm originally from South Korea. So I went to school in Iowa, so it's just really where I'm from. It's really more than one identity. Like I'm always thinking about what identity means to my work, and how my original identity always kind of like washed out and then evolved and transform and change continuously. And then identity is something really complex and shifty and changeable, and that type of thing is always present in my work. So talking about my work is, I'm trained as a painter, and I love to draw and paint, and I've been doing that on oil on canvas for a while, and I found my true material, which is Korean mobile paper. So I use paper as my main medium, and I always think about how paper is historically really old and really stable material, but also treated always like a fundamental thing, like, you draw and you sketch before you paint. And then I always trying to break that down, like, I draw and I paint, and every mark making and I do for my work on paper also become a serious form of art. So I don't really just sketch out and draw just to practice. Paper has a longer history, and for me it's really interesting to do work on paper with acrylic paint, which is relatively very short, has short history. It's American invention, which is like less than 100 years old. But paper is like 5,000, like Korea is like 5,000 years old. Sparks happen in between East and West, something very different, maybe sometimes more than dual, like triple or multiple. You put them together, and then weird things like happening in my work. And I always try to capture that moment. And also figurative elements that you can recognize, I always try to combine with abstract gesture. So things that you cannot really quickly recognize right away, but when you search like iconography or colors that you sort of like see, you recognize things, and they sort of telling you that this is what you see, but this can be something else that what you think about. So I always try to make a work that are somewhat familiar, yet very strange at the same time. That also represents my life in the United States. This is my home now, but I'm adopted. So I always feel like I'm sort of in between places all the time, and I try to find the beauty within that. So I've been doing this practice for a long time, but this is pretty new. And so I found the love of ceramic element, and also ceramic has so much history and always travel between East and West. There's so many different techniques and color that people recognize in Asian traditional, style, blue and white. Also blue willow is like a British invention of love of Chinese ceramic, and I try to embrace that. So what we see as exotic Asian thing actually is not. So you can find the angry birds, or you can find Hopi Kachina doll elements. You sort of looking at it and then feel like you're seeing some type of Asian creature, but the source material actually I get it from somewhere else and make it look like Asian. So there's always lots of misunderstanding. So ceramic was perfect form for me. Another challenging element, it was like, as it objects that are everyday life material. We use dishes, like we use vase, and they're hanging out in the living room or kitchen. And I always try to make it sort of like non-functional. Like, okay, I'm gonna make it like a non-functional, you can't really use it. So I slice it and deconstruct them, put them together, and you can find the funny elements like peach sticking on the top. Peach is another element, like in immortal, like Asian manuscript paintings, like guardian angel, they carry peaches to cross the river. But at the same time, if you ever come to the south, there's many peach towers in the south all over the place, and Atlanta is known for peach city, that you really see absolutely no peach except peach tree, like road sign or on the bus sign. So it's quite an irony. So I wanted to use that as a sort of cultural signifier for my work. And then here you can see like emoticon, like smiley face, and like a computer, like how can I say, people trying to reduce misunderstanding of each other, and they put smiley face at the end. And I was thinking about that's really interesting because we are using this technology, little cell phone, try to talk to my mother-in-law, my mom, but we still care about the emotion. Like, we don't want the other person to read wrong or emotionally like upset or something. We put smiley face at the end. I always think that as a communication tool. So that you kind of see it in my work. And then, like, of course, what do you call that? Fortune cookies. Like, it's the biggest misunderstanding of Asianness. You go to Chinese restaurant and get fortune cookie, have a little piece of like understanding Asianness, but it's not. It's American invention in sushi restaurant in California. So when I almost look at it like looking at ourselves as American. So I've been doing this, and I have practice down in the south where I live right now in Atlanta, but I travel all the time. And my mother-in-law, my mom check on Facebook to check how I am. And I feel like the world is interconnected so tightly with the internet. And I always feel like so closer to them, even though they're so far away. So I feel like DC is kind of like that. Where's a place that I what city I'm gonna live. But in a way, we are all in one big family. So that's what I've been always thinking about in my work. Thank you.
Thank you, Jiha.